Good morning. Today we are going to apply demand function and learn how to calculate demand function and use it for drawing demand curve. As we know that there is a negative relation between price and quantity demanded, so we are going to study it mathematically. We have studied before that there is a negative relation between price and quantity demanded, and it's called demand law. Demand law has two reasons. I'm trying to refresh your mind with the previous lectures. I guess that you have already read them before. So let's read this example. Given the following equation, draw demand curve. QD equals 10,000 minus 80p. Note, this equation would be given to you in your exam. You are going to have it in your exam paper and with different numbers, of course. To plot points of demand curve, we assume different prices to calculate the value of QD at different prices. So, as I said here, we are going to assume numerical examples for P and then substitute in this demand curve, demand equation, and we will get the value of QD. Let's start. Assumption. At P equals 10, QD, I'm going to substitute, equals 10,000 minus 80 times 10. So QD equals 9,200. Another assumption, at P equals 20. Again, QD equals 10,000 minus 80 times 20. The result is 8,400. Here, I want to recommend you have to put some numbers that makes the assumption or the calculation very simple. So I've assumed 10. The result is 9,200. Again, 20. The result is 8,400. At price equals 30. QD would be equal 7,600 as you see in the schedule. 40. The result is 6,800. This is demand what? Demand schedule. Let's move to demand curve. Drawing demand curve, as we have learned from previous lectures, any demand curve or supply curve or any curve in your knowledge, it could be drawn with 2 points. So at P equals 10, the result of QD, the value of QD was 9,200. And then at P equals 20, we would find the result of QD, the value is 8,400. And then we are going to connect the 2 points. Here we get demand curve. Okay, I think it's simple for you. If there is one student who wants to substitute with different prices instead of 10 or 20, you could put 2, 3, 4, any numbers, and then you will calculate QD using the demand function. Let's move to supply function. Supply, we know this is the perspective of the firm. The firm would be encouraged for producing by increasing prices. As we know that there is a positive relation between price and QS, quantity supplied. We are going to apply supply curve. This is an example, numerical example. Here you have the formula of supply. QS equals 500 plus 20p. Again, it's gonna be given to you in your exam. You are not going to calculate this formula. This is not for this level. Now you are going to use this equation to have schedule of supply and then supply curve. Let's move. Again, I'm going to assume at price equals 10. This is not a must. You could put price 2, 3, 4, any number, and then you are going to substitute with supply function. QS equals 500 plus 20 times 10. So the result is QS equals 700. So when price is 10, firms will be supplying at this price. The quantity supplied is 700. And when price is 20, what do you think? If price increases, what would happen to QS? As we have learned before, when price increases, this would encourage producers to produce more goods and services. So QS would be equal, QS equals 500 plus 20 times 20, QS equals 900. Let's plot these numbers or this numerical example in supply schedule. Here we have P on the left hand side and QS on the right column. QS equals 700. At P equals 20, QS equals 900. At P equals 30, 1100. At P equals 40, 1300. So here we've got, or we have calculated the corresponding points for price at different prices. Again, any student could put any numbers. I'm going to make a revision for the calculation only. So you are free to plot any numerical examples. Let's draw it. At price equals 10, from the previous schedule, the corresponding QS equals 700. When price equals 20, corresponding quantity supplied is 900. So what would we get from this graph? We would get positive slope supply curve. It means when price increases, QS would increase because producers would be encouraged by high prices because it reflects one factor of profit. Profit gaining is reflected by prices. That's why when price increases, QS would increase also. Exercise. At home, you will be given a numerical example for the following formulas. You have to do it by your own hand and make an exercise. Given the following demand and supply formulas, QD equals 200 minus 2P. QS equals 40 plus 5P. What is required? You are required to plot demand and supply curves and schedules. How? By applying the previous steps. Again, as a hint, you are going to plot prices at any assumptions. Maybe P equals 1. Another student would make P equals 2 or whatever. So you are going to substitute P with 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, whatever. And then you are going to substitute it in QD function and QS function. Take the previous schedule points or values and then transform them into demand curve and supply curve. That's all for today. You can do it by your own hand and it's very simple. See you next lecture, inshallah. Thank you.